Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past, with the times of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Happy Wednesday. We are midway through our weekly struggle, and we've got a loaded week. Oof. I have Dexter tomorrow because I haven't been streaming that on here with you guys, but I have been watching that, the redemption of the Dexter franchise. And obviously tomorrow we have Peacemaker. Should be what, episode 3? Lost track. But further down that rabbit hole, figuring out what the hell's going on. Still shaken from the last 2 days of streaming with that. Bring her back. That should have not watched that. I really, really regret watching that. That really fried my brain. And then before my brain could unfuck itself, I went and watched Alien Earth episode 5. That nasty show, but the best episode of that show so far, episode 5 last night. So those of you who did the watch along with us last night, I hope you had fun. We had a lot of people across our platforms. Doesn't reflect on YouTube. Like I said, I really want you guys who are watching us on Twitter to come on over to YouTube because, like I said, it benefits the channel more on YouTube than it does on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Even though we get a lot of you watching, you guys and watching on YouTube can't see what we're seeing. Me and Brad when we were watching the show because we have like a little counter with a little eyeball iris thing on the upper left, and it shows us everyone who's watching from everywhere, and we get a lot of people from Twitter. But once I said Twitter is not set up for to really benefit the channel. So there you go. All right, Hal Jordan. Yes, please like, subscribe, share. Like I said, if you know a Twitter person who's watching us on Twitter, give them this URL at the bottom of here. If you want to leave a super chat, ways you can support the channel, Patreon. Got some new features on Patreon that I'm going to be trying out with you guys over the weekend. Also, I have a help ticket in on YouTube because I wanted to do a members thing, but something's wrong with the account and it wasn't broadcasting. So when I ran my test the other day, didn't go through. So I hope that gets fixed because I want to use those two platforms. I want to start doing, like I said, post shows to where we're 10, 15 minutes after a normal show, especially when I start doing some more daytime stuff. So there you go. You can leave a super chat or you can just go ahead and leave your donation or whatever, your question directly to that. And if you use PayPal, just leave a note what your question is and what your request is. Nah, that is a duck. That is not a seagull. For those of you who have been watching Peacemaker, by the way, I forgot his name. That character is annoying as shit. Dude, it's not really doing much for me. A little bit over top. Hello, Glimmer. Ray, what's going on? Hello, Droga. I have one more episode. I have the last episode before I think one came out tonight or tomorrow night. Best episode so far this season has been the shuttle episode, the zombies. Hello, Australia. I don't know what Man of Tomorrow is. He's just, I don't think he's adapting it. Yeah, the announcement for James Gunn making an announcement July 9th, 2027. Listen, guys, like I said in my previous post, I will find a way to get hyped up about that as it gets closer, but that's 2 years away. And I just spent the last 2 years, I think we've all spent the last 2 years driving James Gunn's Superman into the ground, squeezing as much enjoyment out of it. If there was that much for some of you, I'm tired of talking Superman. I mean, I'm ready to move on to certain things within the DCU, ready to talk Lanterns, ready to talk Supergirl, ready to talk Paradise Lost, ready to talk Swamp Thing, ready to talk all these things. And to be honest with you, I think it's a detriment to the whole thing if we just continue to bring up Superman, simply because each facet of this universe, there's going to be other people that are working on this and putting their points of view forward. Those are the people who are going to shape what the DCU is. It's not all James Gunn. So I think the biggest thing is that people understand and know that this is not all going to be the universal tone. Even if he writes and directs the next Superman movie, there's going to be 6 or 7 people that work on different projects in between, and I'm ready to start talking about those projects. All right, so yeah, this one does not have tentacles and does not force the victim's eyeball out of the socket to replace it with it. There you go. Let's see. Let's do my. Hold on for a second. I want to test a signal out. It's my asshole signal. Hold on. It worked.
There's no asshole that came on the screen. Well, unless the one
Yeah,
talking about the one who's already there.
Whatever. For those of you guys who don't watch Rocky Horror, what do you call Brad when in Rocky Horror? Asshole. We if we had a Janet, I don't think we'd be calling her slut, but it's asshole's a little bit lesser term. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Yeah, don't feel like talking about Superman. I'm not gonna put Superman on the ban list. I it's 2 years away. We just really banged our heads against the bricks for the last 2 years with this last movie.
We're back at it because I mean that news. I mean what do you take a wild guess? Like what came out of that news today? It's like you got the one side in particular. It's like they just can't not use that to not just beat other fans over the head with.
Well, that's like I said. That's why I don't give them any oxygen. I didn't see too many of those posts today. As a matter of fact, I mean, it's like those guys changed. They changed the reality. They got into the whole box office wars when they really didn't need to even start that. And then when the box office didn't turn out exactly how they thought it was, telling me billions and all this, then they started changing, reality. When all you had to do, you didn't even have to need to take a side on this. The movie never needed to make $1 billion. Once it broke 500, that was step one in the recovery of the brand of Superman and the brand of DC from what the previous regime had done to it. It did not need to make $1 billion. It really didn't need to make 600 million.
It needed to make $1 billion, but not to do that. It needed that for something else, which was to take a victory lap around other fans. That's what it needed $1 billion for.
But if you're taking victory laps without another fan, you really don't belong in anyone's conversation. And I wish people would do a better job of not inviting. Don't fall for the bait. All they're doing is making money off of you. It's not. I escape it every fucking day. Every fucking day I escape it. You know why? Because some of these guys exist. They only do this to make money off of people's things. They know if they kick something that's going to start some shit, they get their clicks, they get their money. That's all. That's the only purpose those conversations serve is to make money for the people who want to antagonize people one way or another. So it is so easy not to get involved in those conversations. It's really easy. It's really easy, but they're betting on people not being able to. And that's how they pay their bills. So why even engage in these conversations? If you see somebody taking a victory lap over some movie and you engage with them, you got duped. You're the sucker. You got duped. You just paid for their coffee. You just made their car or helped make their car payment or whatever it is they use their YouTube money on, because that's all they're really doing. They do it on every single platform. They do these dumb trigger comments and dumb posts, and people just eat it up like shit. It's like, you guys, I mean, some people who I know got a little bit more reactionary common sense than this fall for it. It's like that the mouse trap. All right. If mice were smarter, they'd be like, that's fucking stupid. Why would it be in that big old contraption that could break my neck and paralyze?
It's still not the one who put the mousetrap on. I mean, again, there's intent behind that. It's like,
and if you fall for it, you're the mouse.
Yeah, but they put it out.
It doesn't matter why the person
doesn't make them any less culpable.
Yeah, but it makes you culpable if you fall for it. Right? The
but
mouse always loses. So
they laid it out. They have.
So you got to go for it. You're got to be the mouse.
Again, they laid
it out. The mouse
ends
ends up dead. The mouse ends up with his fucking neck broken. So how does that make? What sense does that make? Just because somebody does something stupid, reaction doesn't have to be stupid. It's not inertia. All right. We don't need a cause and effect here. Someone can do something stupid and post something stupid, and guess what, guys? I know this is a fucking anomaly. You can ignore it. You can scroll up and down.
You've been asking people to ignore for 12 years on this.
Okay, and if you can't do that, then you don't belong in a intelligent conversation. If you're going to get duped into this bullshit by people who are putting out bullshit, it's like two empty skulls smashing together. Just because somebody posts something stupid, you don't have to fucking respond. How hard is that? If
but
you are typing,
no.
Fuck them. If you are typing on this computer, if you are on the internet, that means you are of some level of intelligence. And if you fall for that bullshit, I'm sorry. My sympathy for you is waning. All right. I feel as sorry for you. I feel more sorry for the mouse because the fucking mouse is an animal. I have more sympathy for an animal that gets caught in a stupid trap than someone who fucking knows why they're out there. You know what they're doing. You know why they're doing it. And because they're doing it justifies you putting your fucking head in a trap. How smart does that sound? So that's what this Superman is going to be. It's going to be a bunch of people who say, hey, you know what? My power bills due. Let me go fuck with somebody who I know is going to be dumb enough to engage. And now I got my bill paid.
Well, can we at least, when we're talking about toxic fandom, like acknowledge which side is taking the first shot?
No, what the fuck does it matter? The mousetrap.
And that's why I bring.
Does the mouse?
That's why I bring this up is because I'm tired of listening to our lectures.
But you got to do better, dude. You got to go above that. You are the trap. You are the mark. You are exactly who they designed the mousetrap for because you can't resist. How come I can live in the same spirit as you do? And I don't respond to these fuckers. I'm no smarter than you, right?
I mean, I didn't respond to anybody.
You're probably smarter. You don't have to respond. Just because somebody puts the dumb shit out there doesn't mean you got to sniff the shit. You're not a dog, people. We're upright walking human beings. Animal behavior belongs with the animals. Don't let you just get duped, and they love that shit. Then now you're in their thumbnails and they got it. Stop. Just don't. Don't watch their videos. Don't respond to their tweets. Let that shit. Just because that shit's out there doesn't mean you got to go after them. We're not fucking superheroes going, we got to keep law and order. But no, fucking let them exist. And the less people that click on that shit, the less people that engage in that shit, guess what? Maybe they'll move on to another grift. Maybe they'll find somebody else to make a video. But you know what? Whether they do or not is not relevant to us because if we ain't engaging in it, it ain't causing our blood pressure to go anywhere. I mean, this is a cottage industry now, and we fall for this shit so easily. Smart people fall for that. I'm like, what are you doing? Why did you have to respond to that? It's not like a black hole where you can't escape the gravitational pull. It's very easy. Just scroll right up, scroll right down. It only takes a couple of words in somebody's post to realize that it's bullshit. It's not like you need to read to the end of it to be like, wow, it really had me. And I thought I was, no, You can pretty much tell for the first sentence that is bullshit, and that all you need to do is scroll on. And pray for those people who decided to waste their fucking time in responding to it and getting triggered by it. You know, just like I said, this is what this has become. And like I said, I'm not doing 2 years of this with Superman. But we're not doing 2 years. We gave Superman what? From the date it was announced till the day it was released, we did our thing, we watched it, gave our opinion about it. I'm not doing another 2 years of running Superman into the ground and comparisons and everything else like that. If I'm going to talk DCU, let's talk Lanterns. If I'm going to DCU, let's talk Clayface. There's a whole bunch of other things by other people that I'm generally interested in seeing, but I'm not falling for the trap. I'm not falling for, not that James Gunn set a trap, but I'm not falling for the goofballs that are like, wow, I need some new shoes. Let's go fuck with some people. And and they know. And I kind of don't blame them, because if you got a good grift, well, you know what? If you can find somebody who's going to eat the worm off your hook like a bonehead, then why would you stop? Why would you stop? If you knew you could pay your bills by just kicking somebody and having them respond, then why would you stop? The only way it's going to stop is if people just stop responding to it. Don't click on it. It's clickbait. I thought we had a term for this. It's clickbait. What do you guys do? You click right on that shit. Be better. Be better. So that's it. I don't care. Listen, it's announced July 9th. That may as well be 50 years from now. 50 years from now. We got a whole bunch of stuff in between that. We got Marvel. We got Marvel movies. We have, I think, two Avengers movies in between that. A Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
You know.
We have a Batman movie in theory coming out that year anyway.
Okay, and like I said, once the script has been handed in, I have heard nothing that would dissuade me from thinking that that's coming out. So we got that movie. We got a whole bunch of movies to talk about in the next 2 years. Like I said, and we have a bunch of DCU stuff that, like I said, might be good, and we have some stuff that might not be DCU. Who knows how this is going to wrap up? We still got Peacemaker to go through tomorrow, so. Yeah, great that he's announced. We knew Superman was going to get some type of sequel. He'll probably be in movies in between that. Go ahead.
We also got
who's tweeting me?
We got some kind of Blade coming in the MCU in that Marvel Zombies. I don't know if you saw that.
I blew right past it because I wasn't really.
Well, it looked pretty cool. He's actually Blade because it's in the part of the what if sort of a sector of it. So he's Blade Knight. He's a combination of Blade and Moon Knight. Cool. And he has Mahershala Ali's likeness, but he's not voicing him. It's a guy named Todd Williams, I think, is voicing Blade Knight. So it looked pretty cool in that trailer.
Yeah, I blew through it. I still have not watched the 28 Days Later because I'm not going to go see the movie. So
how'd that come out?
28 years, 28. That came out yesterday. People were bugging me to watch the trailer yesterday. I still haven't watched it. Might get to that weekend. I don't know. What's the next movie? I'm actually Long Walk. I sent people to see The Long Walk tonight.
Yeah,
by the way, I got another screening for that on Monday. I might go to that one. I'm not sure. But then Campy is coming out here on the 14th to come see it. He's doing a movie. He's doing a gathering. Yeah, he's got his little trailer. So he's driving all around and he's doing meetups. So you can go watch the movie with him. So I've always wanted to meet him. Kind of cool. Obviously I met Robert Meyer Burnett. So I might wait till the 14th to see it then, or because I'm not seeing any movies.
What am I
twice.
looking forward to seeing theatrically soon here? Well, since they moved Mortal Kombat 2, the biggest one in the fall for me now probably is Predator Badlands.
I forgot all about that. I saw the first 20-something minutes. Me and Ray.
How could you forget Predator Badlands, especially if you saw some of it? Because that looks.
Yeah, I got, like I said, it's so far. It does.
Hunter. I mean, what we're just talking about, and you gotta. I mean, you just.
No, I'm not. This is stupid. Not you, Hunter. I'm not saying you are stupid. This whole thing was just. I saw that too, and I'm like, that's one of the other things. I'm like, that's all this stuff comes out, and it's like somebody made money off of that. Whoever spent, somebody made money off of that. Somebody bought, their wife a new lingerie or something with that. Whatever it is.
Speaking of making money, I think Zach really needs to patent the term Snyder Bros at this point, because
I would anything that had my name on it, I would have. Everything. So every time you said that, if I'm Zach, I get paid. Conjuring this.
Oh yeah, that is again. That's it, because I've never been that into the Conjuring franchise.
I tried because we promoted. They didn't do a promotion out here this year. That was the first. This like marks the
how
first
many are those?
Conjuring that they didn't do.
How
It's
many
like
of those
5,
have been
man.
made so far? Like 6? This is like the 6th one.
Yeah. Yes, I did see Toxic Avengers. I did see
I
Toxic
did too.
Avengers.
Oh, you finally saw it.
Yeah, I saw it, and they, as much as they could, the people who made this understood trauma, but they also understood the 2020s, and it's a fun movie. It's a fun. If you love, I'll tell you what. If you love trauma, there's no
Yeah,
way
I'd
you're
say
not gonna
so.
like this movie.
I'd say
There's
so.
no
Yeah,
way
definitely.
you're not gonna like this movie.
I mean, it's definitely got bigger budget than the average trauma movie, and that's like complimentary saying that because they went into this saying it's like, okay, let's make some trauma, but also like let's dress it up
Yeah,
a little bit because we have more resources than they usually do.
yeah. This is
Crickets or
like 40
lanterns.
million.
I wouldn't be surprised if well, Guy Gardner, you already have seen it.
Well, I don't count Guy Gardner. I don't count Guy
Well, I'm
Gardner
not saying.
because
Let me
yeah,
rephrase that. It's like you've seen because he's also going to be on Lanterns too. So
for about 2 minutes.
yeah,
I bet you.
yeah. God, please, somebody kill
The,
off.
the, the thing about it,
Guy Gardner.
Guy Gardner is you saw the most unrepresentative of the story that they're most likely telling is in Guy Gardner. So that's why you can show Guy Gardner up front because he's not representative. It's not like you can look through Guy Gardner and say, "Oh,
Well,
now I understand
again,
what Lantern is be like."
again,
No,
he's
no, no.
like if you there were 8 billion people on this planet now. If you talk to every last one of them, not one of them will tell you Guy Gardner is her favorite Green Lantern, even after seeing him in a movie. He's by design. He's meant to be a Green Lantern that nobody can stand.
Yeah, and the story of Green Lantern is going to be written by completely different people, done by completely different people. It's not even going to be recognizable as something anything you saw, and that's what I like about this current thing is that if you didn't, if Superman wasn't your cup of tea, now you got something that gets completely a complete 180 that may be, and then to me that's where I think James Gunn and all involved would benefit from the conversation not being on Superman for a while. I understand you want to make an announcement. That's fine. But as far as like,
And by the way,
he goes, I would, if I'm him, I steer the conversation to these other things to let people know how diverse this universe is.
He's clarified also, like in a comment of somebody today, that this is like Man of Tomorrow. It's not quote unquote Superman 2. I don't know if you saw that screenshot.
Yeah, yeah,
because like he's in it. He's in it. It's part of his story, and he even like responded to somebody else where he said like defines Superman 2. So he's kind of again he's doing a universe where Superman is like a central figure, but we're not doing like sequels in the traditional sense.
I don't even know if it's going to be called Man of Tomorrow. I think that could change in each
movie.
movie.
It kind of reminds me of another like a Superman follow up. It's like where it's sequel. It's not a sequel like with the numerical sense, traditional sense. Name escapes me.
Crickets for that. Yeah, Lantern comes out in early next year. Lantern is about 3 or 4 months away. Sometime
we got a date on that.
They said early 2026, so you only have 3 months in early or
just early.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So anywhere between January to March, maybe, but I'm hoping sooner than later. But even still, if it's early 2026, then where's the trailer? I would like to see a trailer for this, but yeah, I will Superman DCU fatigue. I'm tired of talking about this version of Superman because fans ran this into the ground, and there's no more mileage in this conversation. So. Let's see. I'm just looking at those.
Look up. We were just talking about what's rising theatrically. Let me look it up real quick.
Happy for Superman fans because they get a sequel that they have not had either in their lifetime. What do you mean by this? I don't get this, Antonio.
Well, even like I said, Gunn said this is not like it's not Superman 2 the way that Superman.
Are
2
you talking about like back in the days when they did 1, 2, 3, and 4? Well, yeah. You got a Superman sequel in 2016 because Batman versus Superman is the sequel to Man of Steel. That's why when people told me I need a Man of Steel too, I don't need that.
Well, I mean, again,
I just need the next step in the story. Is what I wanted.
Again, this is coming right from the horse's mouth, where he says this is not. It's a Superman story, but it's not. It's not Superman 2 in the way that Superman 2 is Superman 2.
I mean, shit. We're a year. We're a long ways away from the trailer.
It started filming. How's he going to do a trailer?
Let's I don't
Yeah,
know why Sweeney Sweeney's in the.
yeah, the Long Walk. I'm definitely gonna be seeing that. I'm just looking release calendar. Yep, Prisoner of War. Can't wait. Scott Adkins. I know Aaron's right there with me. Strangers. It's interesting. The Strangers.
Who? Oh, are you calling me an idiot, Patrick, or is there somebody in the chat that you're?
I'm sure, but you're in need. Somebody getting mad as soon as Superman movie announcement.
Okay, I don't. I'm assuming that this is not directed for me, but I'll just go ahead and play devil's advocate and say that it is. No, I'm not mad. I'm just don't feel like talking about it 2 years out. Look what we just did for 2 years. Look what we just did for 2 years. We talked the shit out of this movie. We almost talked the fun out of this movie. We started wars over this movie. Compared this movie to another movie that had no business being compared to by either way. That's what we did the last 2 years. So excuse me if I'm exhausted and want to talk about some of the other stuff that this universe might give me, because I'm sorry, when it comes to Superman, especially online fans just don't know how to act sometimes, and they really take all the air out of anything positive with it. And we did it over and over again. We started having the same fucking stupid conversation the day that Superman was announced, the day that we got to July 11th. Every milestone, the conversation got dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber. And we had to do extra work and extra lifting to get some decent conversations out of the whole thing. It got here. It did what it was going to do. I had a good time with it. I had a good time promoting it, but I'm exhausted. That marathon is behind me now. Now you're telling me there's one in 2 years. Guess what? I'm going to take a physical break from running this marathon and maybe take some sprints somewhere else with these other things that you got coming out and some other superhero movies that are coming out. I'm not mad. I don't, like I said, I'm assuming this is who you're not directing this to me, but if it is, I'm not mad. I'm just exhausted. And sometimes you can take a good thing and run it into the ground to where it's distorted. It's not fun anymore. And that's what happened when it comes to Superman in a lot of cases. So,
Yeah,
so I hope, I don't know who you're talking about, but
Smashing Machine. Yeah, it really, with all the acclaim The Rock is getting for his performance in that, really curious about that.
Standing ovation.
I'm telling you, I mean, what bet? We can make that bet tonight. It's like that comes out and he starts getting Oscar buzz. I'm telling you, everybody that has just been ready to just burn him at effigy. Last 2 years are going to be like, and we actually really did like Black Adam. We'd love to have seen like what his plans were. I'm telling you.
I think that
180 is going to be just something.
Somebody should have taken what if they were going to do anything with that, a studio person should have been there to be like, you know what? I don't think you and Hiram are quite it, but I'm going to take your idea and you can come with me into this office and let's flesh something out, because I don't think they were the people. But I still, as a fan, I wanted to see where it went, and never, it's one of those things that just made me think, you know what, I'm gonna need, even still now in this new thing, I'm gonna need to see, I'm glad Zaslav came out and stood behind his creator. But if Zaslav sells or whatever, he retires, is the next guy going to be that? Is going to be the same thing? Now? Because here's the thing. Here's an interesting situation: is we got Marvel movies getting back into the swing of things with the frequency of their movies and aiming towards that big story again. Now, if Zaslav's not there, if the people, the infrastructure is not there, are we going to get into this? Oh my God, Marvel just put out 3 million or 3 movies that made this and this and that, and we got to aim towards that instead of keeping on our own progress. I just hope the situation is the former and not the latter, because when DC pays attention to DC, they're at their best. When they try to drive Marvel's car from their own vehicle, that's when everybody crashes and dies. So I hope
Tron Ares. Yeah, I'll give that a look. I'm not like
I'm
tremendously excited.
My numbness to Tron began when I was a kid, because when I saw it as a kid, I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. But
Brad, I think a lot of people are not really Superman fans. Just like, I think a lot of people are mad about Secret. Again, it's and like to kind of clarify,
mad or exhausted. I'm just tired, man.
I mean, to clarify what kind of part of what I was saying earlier is that I'm somebody who, I'm somebody who I don't take well to people who, let's say don't practice what they preach. And we've had to hear so much over these last few years about toxic fandom. And I'm seeing so much of it on the other side of this conversation now. And I'm not listening to lectures on toxic fandom from people who are putting out mousetraps. I mean, that's really the crux of what I was getting at a minute ago. I'm sick of being asked to listen to lectures on toxic behavior from people who have shown no proclivity at all for civility.
My question to you, Brad, is
Hmm.
don't listen to them. Don't listen to the why do you have to listen to the conversation?
Well, there's a little bit more to that, and I may talk a little bit offline with you about that. It's kind of relates to what I said earlier, but
yeah, I to me, like I said, I don't think I'm going to put the mute button on Superman because we're done. We're not at the height of all the nonsense and the noise, and there's other things about Superman that might be in other things. Obviously, as somebody who sells comic books, I mean, muting Superman for an extended amount of time might not be the best thing. At the height of the nonsense, oh hell yeah, I was.
How long did you have it muted for?
I had it muted for about a month.
So like the
right at the height, yeah, right at the height, because I was already promoting it. So the only things that I really need to hear about Superman are coming from people that
seeing in the office.
I'm seeing in the office, and when I'm getting emails and my response to Superman, especially on Twitter, where the majority of people that are on me on Twitter are not locals. My Instagram, my Facebook are like all my locals. So I really didn't care about what was going on as far as that goes. The box office argument, the whole the comparisons. I thought the comparisons were stupid. I mean, it just got to the point it was over and over and over again. So I had to mute it because it's the fact that I just didn't feel like it's a lot easier for me to scroll through when I've consolidated my timeline of shit I actually care about.
I'll put an asterisk on what you're saying there about the comparisons. The comparisons are stupid if they're used with malice. If the comparison is here's this concept for the previous version, here's what's done in this version, like here's kind of like a good example of that is like with Superman and Lois, was wrapping up and they had Doomsday in the finale, and I wrote a piece on Comic Book where I kind of talked about kind of like comparing the two different versions that BVS and Superman and Lois do of the death of Superman and their versions of Doomsday, and specifically on like kind of different aspects of the way Doomsday is portrayed. It's like, but I mean, I made clear I'm a fan of both of those, but I'm making a comparison of like, oh, that's interesting that this did this with this way, this with that way, and let's just kind of break it down. It's like, so comparison isn't inherently like a bad thing or a bad conversation point. It's just that when it becomes a cudgel, that's what I would say. Yeah,
that's what you got. Why you got to just pick better people to have conversations with. That's what I try to do. I think I should have heard about Lanterns a little bit because Lanterns is a TV show. I mean, I don't know. This is I mean, Lanterns is done. I want to listen. I'm already hyped. There's nothing, but I'm surprised that they haven't, because once again, this isn't like anything else that's come out in the DCU. This is going to be the first thing that comes out in the DCU that has not been James Gunn centric. So it's going to be interesting. You think they'd hype it up, but you know what? I'm going to be there no matter what. Even if I'm the only one watching, I'm going to be there for Lanterns.
Aaron, the one from Aaron. We don't have an official date yet, but it
Don't
is
care.
It is premiere. Quiet. It is premiering. Premiering at Toronto International Film Festival this weekend. So they put a clip out before we put a trailer. So I would imagine we're probably getting like some details of it pretty soon. Hopefully it's out. My big dream is that it's out just like November, December. It's time, holly jolly Christmas with it. So hopefully that's the case.
All right. Well, I tried to stay awake during that. It's gonna be I hope it's not. I don't. Why spring? Shit. I mean, sooner the better for me. If
it's like late March, that's spring. So.
All right. This is also Dynamite looks good. I have not.
Oh, here's a good one because I've seen some kind of conversation, and not like divisive.
Okay. Okay. All right. I didn't think you were. I just wanted to play devil's advocate and maybe. All right. Yeah. Because like I said, I'm not mad. I'm just tired, man. It's just like
should James Gunn direct Man tomorrow?
At this point, no.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of debate about that today. It's like, okay, you wrote and directed the first one, but again, did Creature Commandos, did Peacemaker, but at this point, it's also like, okay, you got the ball rolling on this your franchise, but also it's like we're on a studio, dude. I mean, it's like there's a lot to have on plate.
And by that time, you're 2 years into running the studio. It's probably hopefully if everything goes right for you, it's growing not out of your control, but out of the point to where you have to micromanage every single thing. You got to have directors and people. I would hope that the DCEU is in Lanterns and everything else is hitting on so many cylinders that he's not going to have time to do this. I mean, I agreed with him doing the first doing Superman because he had to set the tone. But even now, the tone does not need to be set by him at all.
I remember you saying, like, when he announced that because it was already known he's going to be writing Superman, and when he confirmed officially, yes, I am also directing, and you'd said. It's like, yeah, of course. I mean, this is your opening salvo on like your legacy with DC. So of course, you better be directing it. But
there was no question. I remember there being a question of whether I'm like, there's no question.
But even back then, I remember thinking like, because I get what you're saying with that, but also again the fact that he's also the studio head on top of that. I just again like you're a studio head, you're like writing and directing like multiple projects from that studio. It's like, I mean, that's a lot for someone to take on.
Yeah. But now that there's a little bit of momentum, he should be able to. Question, William, did you Mortal Kombat reimagine AI? I don't do anything with Mortal Kombat anywhere. I don't even play the game anymore.
That'd probably be a me and Aaron question. I didn't know there was like any MKAI thing, so good time, man.
All right, skipping. I don't know. I don't know how much money they need to make to be able to justify Autopsy 2, because I know a majority of its money is probably going to be made on streaming services and PVOD. I mean, this is that kind of movie.
Yeah.
Where is it at? I know I don't know. Somebody told me that they spent $40 million on it. I don't know.
I think that's.
I didn't see $40 million. I'm not insulting the movie. Don't come after me.
By the way, so box office says 2.4.
Yeah, but I don't know what they spent on it.
It doesn't say the budget though.
Because you have Peter Dinklage, you have some big, you have Kevin Bacon in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have. I don't see 40 million worth of sorry, and the effects were good for what it was, but it wasn't. I don't see. If you can make the creator for 80 million, I see you could probably make Toxic for about 15-20 million.
Yeah, that's about where I
put it. With the money, with most of the money coming on the back end and physical media, in popcorn buckets. They got paid for those popcorn buckets. So,
no, Sonic, that's confirmed. It's official. There's no ambiguity. It's coming out on May 15th now, and apparently the reasoning is that they wanted to kind of move it to the response, from like test audiences and internally actually has been very positive on it. So the word on it, I know a number of people who have seen it actually, who've seen the early cut of it. So the word is that they're actually confident enough in it they want to put it in like their prime summer like opening spot. So that's May 15th for them. So yeah, it sucks being delayed, but it seems like they got a lot of faith in it. So hopefully it should be worth it in 7 months here.
Yay. I seriously doubt all DCU. No, definitely will not. And that's, to me, that's the right business move. When you take your family out somewhere, you know what? Not everything is going to be for everybody in the family, but you could all sit in a restaurant. Like your fucking kid, well, depending on what country you're at, you can order a beer, but your kid can't. You're going to order a 16-ounce steak, but you're not going to get your kid that necessarily. You're probably going to get him something more, that's why they like Denny's. They got kids meal, but everybody, the family is at the table. You want them at the table, but you are catering to each one. I actually think it's a pretty smart idea because it gives you different angles to come into the DCU and stay there. I don't think everything should be for everybody. That's why when the whole Peacemaker thing came out, you got Dick swinging in the first episode. Well, yeah, of course that's not going to be for your kids, but at the same time, your kids have something. See, it's not like your kids aren't going to have anything in this DCU.
See, I try to be as like moderate and like I look at everything from as many sides as I can. Like the whole thing about like what's Peacemaker, like coming on the heels of Superman and Peacemaker season 2 is that like inappropriately marketed children. It's like I could see the logic behind like both perspectives of its, especially with Gunn saying it's like that's why they put Superman on digital when they did, is they wanted people to be able to, if they can see theatrically, he wanted to be able to see it as a lead into Peacemaker. So I could see the rationale behind both perspectives. Like, yeah, this is like you're anchoring this to something that was explicitly intended to be family friendly to something that is absolutely not.
Yeah, but everything's being aimed at adult.
And again, I can also see the idea of like it's I mean, if the trailers alone should indicate, yeah, this is not for the under 15 crowd.
Plus, there is no such thing as marketing towards kids in that respect. Who has the money? Who buys this stuff? Who pays for the subscription? Who buys the movie ticket? Who takes you to the movies? Everything is being marketed towards an adult no matter what, because who's buying the stuff for the kids? So saying he wanted it out before, Superman and Digital Media and all that still headed towards mom and dad. They got the job, they got the money. Everything is being marketed towards the money. So saying you're marketed towards the kids, you're marketing it towards the person who can give the kid access to that one way or another.
But now with that, here's the other thing too: is kids these days are not like kids when I was growing up. And what I mean by that is that I see this like in the school all the time. I mean, I got 10-year-olds coming in there with smartphones now. I mean, kids are hooked. Kids are plugged in to this kind of stuff in a way that that my generation certainly wasn't. And so there's an argument for a mandate, let's say, for parents to be more attentive to their kids, like entertainment and online activities. I'm of the opinion, I don't have kids, but in my house, like my child, I would not have a kid be on social media younger than 15.
Yeah, I mean,
they would not have a Twitter, they would not have a Facebook if they were younger than 15.
And it's dangerous too, by the way. I mean, there's kids can be exploited. You gotta, like I said, I the parent is the key to all this. Now you can appeal to the child, but all that gets rerouted to the parent because, like I said, unless you're going to steal it, you got to pay for it. And most, now if you're old enough to have your own income, you're 14, 15-year-olds, and then today's modern kid is probably going to be like, okay, that ain't that great a deal. Once again, it's still up to the parents, though. I thought we would be no sequel after what? Okay, you guys were talking about something.
Yeah, probably talking about more.
Only interact with Peacemaker. He just won't be dropping. Yeah, when he's on a platform that is accessible to kids, he will be a lesser from. Like hell, they're putting the Punisher in a Spider-Man movie that's not going to be rated any higher than PG-13.
Well, and to that point,
does
and to that point, I mean, the fact that he does have the Peacemaker does have the cameo in Superman is. Again, I'm not saying.
Are there any?
I'm not.
Is there any full frontal in that scene? No.
But I'm not saying I agree either way on this. But playing devil's advocate on that, is there not an argument to be made that you're at that point you're just setting you're setting families and kids up for the expectation that okay, this character was in a Superman movie, he's got to show out now. Let's go pull it up on HBO Max, and then 10 minutes in, they're assaulted with the orgy scene. Again, I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm not saying that's how I feel. I'm just saying it's like. That argument, I could see the foundation of that argument.
I can't, because once again, it ends and begins with the parent. It ends and begins with the parents. Your parents are hip enough, and if HBO Max, the rating is right there, and you can pull up the rating even before the episode, and it tells you why it's rated TVMA. So if a bonehead like me can pull that up, then a parent who has more at stake can pull it up.
You want to hear really, really interesting, again, showing like how much times change, generations have changed. When I was like, I think I was like 13. I was about 13, and watching it was like Friday night, and they had like dinner and a movie on TBS Friday nights, and they're showing Basic Instinct that night. And it's at it's like at the interrogation part. Now it's edited for TV, obviously. It's edited for cable, but it's still, very suggestive, and and there's also the fact. I mean, it's like my prepubescent brain definitely had a crush on Sharon Stone, so I watched that part of the movie, and then I come out. I'm like going to the kitchen and get like something, and mom and dad ask it, what are you watching? I said, oh, I'm watching Basic Instinct. They turn and say, oh, you're changing the channel right now. Yeah, change that channel, and that they immediately when they did that. And I've said on here before, it's like that movie creeps me the hell out. I can't, but what they did with that is they also created, the whole forbidden fruit paradox, where it's like by denying me that, it's like then all they did was like pique my curiosity until I was able to.
Yeah, but you had to do some hard shit to get to it, though. It wasn't easy. Yeah. Once they told you had to sneak around and do ninja shit, It's like,
well, again, we didn't have like streaming and the internet and
and on our phones. So. AEW charging $39.99 for a pay-per-view. That's a discount for me. It's a $10 discount. because I'm already signed up to HBO Max. So we get it's $49, so $39. That's fine. I haven't got an AEW pay-per-view that wasn't worth the money I paid. Now, if you were asking me if it was a WWE pay-per-view and I was paying that much money for it, yeah, I'd have some problems because the product just hasn't been that good. But when it comes to AEW's pay-per-views, you can say what you want about anything about the company. When it comes to putting on pay-per-views, you get your money's worth. You probably get more than your money's worth, and you're going to get good value for that $39. I haven't had a pay-per-view in 6 years that AEW's been around that wasn't worth the money that I paid for it. So I don't have a problem with it at all, Antonio.
I'm looking again what we got coming up. So after Tron, Ares, Deathstalker, that'll probably be like a limited theater run than mainly on BVOD, but I saw the trailer for that. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Blackbone 2, I'll probably give that a look.
I did lost me at Black. I didn't hate Blackbone 1, but I didn't need any more after Blackbone 1.
Yeah,
that was done.
I could go for more with it. And then Frank, of course, we got a little bit of the debate around that. Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein.
Well, that's going to be Academy Award contender. So
yeah. Who we got in it? It's Oscar Isaac as Dick Frankenstein. Jacob
Mia
Elordi.
Goth is in it.
I'm really curious to see what he looks like when he takes that cloak off, because I think I've shared on here before, like the one that I had to fight, one of the R-rated ones I had to fight for so long to see when I was a kid was Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, with De Niro and Kenneth Branagh from '94.
Oh, you're really living in an Amish paradise, don't you?
No, here the reason why, because when at the time that was coming out, my mom she left college when she had my sister and me, and then she took a few years off, and then she went back. She was an English lit major. And at the time she went back, that was when the movie was coming out. So, and, she went one of her classes, they read the book, and the professor said, oh, by the way, for extra credit, the movie's coming out, go see the movie. So she did. And my mom, talk about like being a gore averse. I mean, how much fun I have talking about the Raid on here. She would never make it through the Raid. She can't, my mom does not like the sight of blood, does not like gore at all. And she was absolutely horrified by it. Really, because you've seen it. You've seen the '94 Frankenstein, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, would you rate that as like a horrifically violent movie? It's got its moments, definitely, but I mean,
not really. I mean, but if she doesn't watch those type of movies and doesn't have any reference point, then
I mean, it's got the heart rip. That's the big one.
That's
and well, then that's what I said when I finally saw it. It's because I saw Temple of Doom when I was 7 years old. Like, are you kidding me? It's like I had all the training I needed for this, but so I'm really curious, like when the new Frankenstein comes out, at what kind of the conversation, like you said, Oscar conversation around that's going to be.
That's the only reason why it's getting, like I said, it'll get that theatrical release for like what, 2 minutes.
I'm gonna see if it's like it's the theater run is coming 2 weeks. It's going out in theaters October 17th, and then it's hitting Netflix on November 7th.
Yeah, and that's where I'll probably.
So I'm really, I'm gonna try. I mean, because I've seen a couple, Army of the Dead and Red Notice. Those I both saw theatrically before they were on Netflix. And I didn't see The Irishman in theaters, but I know it did play at one of my theaters. So there have been, and there are a couple other examples I can remember, even though I didn't see them, of like Netflix movies hitting theaters around me. So I'm kind of holding out hope Frankenstein might do the same.
Top 3 worst movies of the year. I mean, I had some disappointing movies of the year. I don't know.
Yeah, nothing really.
I generally don't go see movies that I'm going to have that kind of opinion about.
I mean, probably the weakest one for me that I can think of off the top of my head so far probably is Brave New World. I've Brave New World.
That was a disappointing. Okay, when you say worst, that's disappointing. That was disappointing. Weapons was disappointing.
Oh, I love that. That's definitely on my worst stuff. That is on my best stuff.
Not even a worst. I don't have a worst. I'm just movies that disappointed me. So I got Captain America. I got that one. So Weapons was disappointing. What else came out this year that I lost track of the shit I've seen this year. I mean, there hasn't been too many movies that I'm like, because I try not to waste my time going to see
if I don't get going to like it.
Yeah. If I have a vibe about a movie, then I generally don't go see it. Some of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life weren't because I went to go see them. It's because I had to go see them with a group of people, or I was in a collective group of people and got outvoted. And and then that's generally as it's been since the '90s with me. You go to drill weekend, or you go to AT, you go to overseas, and you go to these places where we split up into these groups and we have to stay together. So it's more important for you to keep the group together than And as the NCO, you're not supposed to. If you're the ranking person, you're supposed to let the privates and spec force.
I've not seen the Electric State, but I know that didn't get like a pretty big reception. The Russos, they really kind of had a hard time outside the outside the MCU. As far as directing and stuff they produce has been really well received. But
Are we getting Teenage Ninja Turtles? Or are we getting Last Ronin? Because if we're getting another Turtles movie, I did sequel to the one I just did, the Mayhem. I could see that, but yeah, if it's the Last Ronin, then yeah, I'm sorry for all you Stay Puft Fluff fans of that stuff from the '90s. I'm sorry. The Last Ronin won't be for you. But you know what? You've ate well. You've been well fed over the past 30 years. You've gotten every cartoonish, soft, cuddly, gummy bear fucking interpretation of the Turtles that you could ever ask for. You've gotten everything you wanted. You've gotten Muppet Turtles for 30. All right. So now it's time to go back home. All right. With the Last Ronin, we're going back home. But you haven't been starved. You have nothing to complain about. All right. So if you wanted the Turtles that actually were in the comic books and the Turtles that were actually written, if you wanted those, you had to wait for 35 years. So I don't want to hear shit from anybody because you got everything you wanted. Every version, go Turtle, go Ninja, go, make me want to fucking vomit through my goddamn nostrils every time I hear that. That is just, but you got your Turtles. You got your Turtles. So now let the rest of us get ours. God damn it. I've heard people say Last Ronin was a good comic. Now it's not a good comic, or it was never a good comic. I don't know anybody who I've ever put that book into their hands and said it's not a great comic, that is not epic. It's sold out almost immediately. It's in 5th and 6th printings. It's hardcover, which is a hard move, sells out. I mean, Last Ronin, I have heard nobody ever say that was not a good comic. To each their own. But like I said, we've had 35 years of fluff. So forgive me if you show me something that remotely resembles the Turtles that I know, that I get a little bit more excited. You guys had your fluff. I understood why they sold out. I understood why they took the check, they took the money, and then let other people run with their franchise. That's fine. And I don't watch those other movies anymore. It's not like they're haunting me. I'm just been waiting for a good Turtle movie for this entire run, that's down my level. And, now we're going to get one, and I'm happy about that.
You want to go back to release? Yeah, and then after Frankenstein, the big one for me, November is Predator Badlands. Cannot wait for that. Again, which one do you think? Which one would you say has had the bigger or the better comeback, Alien or Predator?
Well, Aliens had more. Aliens had more volume. Alien has had a movie and a show.
Predators had Prey. It's had Killers. Now it's got Badlands coming up.
Yeah, so I would say I'd roughly say it's about even, but Alien didn't need, from 2012 on, Alien didn't need the rehabilitation that Predator did. So Predator had more ground to cover because of the Predator. So I'd probably have to say Predator did.
Jose says, well, yeah, no, and he's a fan. He's made clear he's a fan, but the only problem is that the Walter Hamada's producing it and Paramount, so it's like, oh, that's kind of an non-starter.
Is he producing it?
Well, it's at Paramount, and Hamada.
That doesn't
part of that. From what I read, Hamada is going to be part of Last Ronin.
I didn't know that, 'cause I thought he was in a different division.
He's supposed to be with the horror division, but also see Last Ronin is interesting. I mean, they might because of the how different it is from like the Image of Turtles that we.
Well, it should still be. They have Paramount has an IP.
Silo.
It should fall under their IP.
Let me look
It
this up
should
real
license
quick.
IP division. I mean, there's a way that he doesn't have to be the guy on it. But what is this? A live action turtle movie? It's gonna be live action. Live action. No, it doesn't have to be super violent. It can't be fluff though. I think you guys have been audience members enough to know that when it comes to comic book IV, I don't do fluff.
Yes, Hamada is producing that.
Direct producing it.
Yes. So yeah, unfortunately, it's like, again, I just don't. That just seems like an insurmountable, like.
I mean, I doubt it would happen.
Guys who clearly don't like each other.
I think there was an Emmerich hate. I don't think anybody but fans views Hamada in that regard, and maybe Ray Fisher, because Hamada wasn't equipped to do a job. I mean, that he wasn't equipped to be DC head. I know that's Emmerich's fault. That's Sarnoff's fault. That's Tushihara and all this other shit. Hamada was, out of all the guys, he was just a guy that got he shouldn't have took the job, is what should have happened. I don't know if he had a choice either. I think they just said, hey, this is what you're doing. You work for us. We're going to move you from this division to this division.
Well, because he was brought in from New Line, and I'd like my understanding is that it was in the aftermath of Justice League 2017, and he's coming from doing things like The Conjuring, and he had had a horror pedigree. So the idea was, okay, the idea is basically bring him over to DC, and because he's used to like working, he's used to working on a budget, with horror movies. The idea is, okay,
which would doomed him the moment.
Oh, I agree. It's like the idea, like you're gonna do like you're gonna do discount, comic book movies.
Yeah, that was over at that point. So yeah, that was a big problem. But I don't know. I don't think there's. I never heard. I've never heard anything. So I don't think they would work together, simply because they're two different type of personalities. But I don't think that would ever be the reason. No. No, like I said, I don't need violence in everything. But if I see something, when the first time I see something and it is what it is, and then as the years go on, I see cotton candy put all over it. I see Care Bear hearts and shit put all over it. When you take the edge off of something that had an edge so that kids can swallow it, it's not Flintstone vitamins. All right. Like I always say. So now I grew away from the live action turtle stuff because I thought it was ridiculous. Let everybody have their fun with it because it wasn't hurting me. But now, the last one's come out. Now obviously its popularity has propelled it into this next phase, and I'm happy. But it doesn't hurt, by the way, that the last Ronin is severely violent. So that the last Ronin is one of the most violent turtle stories they've ever written.
It's the mask of Ninja Turtles. For it. It's the mask of Ninja Turtles.
Without the comedy. Because you ain't laughing when you're reading Ronin, you are not laughing. In fact, it starts out very like what he's doing. And I'm not going to spoil it because I still want you guys to go out and get this. What the last Ronin is about to do is very depressing, and it's a very horrific, potentially horrific start of a story, and that's how they started. So, but it's consistent throughout. Man, it's violent, and the backstory behind how he became the last Ronin is, and like I said, for those of you who are in the chat, for people who are going to be watching this brand new, do me a favor. Just if you've read it, just leave it for the new people because that's part of the story and how there's a lot of it that I want people to experience with. But yeah, I think it's the best total story they've told since the late 80s, early 90s, to be honest with you.
The Running Man. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, with Glenn Powell.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We should do a watch party of the Arnold Running Man before that comes out.
Wow, with Maria Conchita Alonso. That movie was hard for me to watch when I went to the movies to see it. Richard Dawson. That movie is like, wow.
Stephen King's he's not the biggest thing, or Richard Bachman, I should say, is not the biggest thing.
Yeah, and I can see why it's not. It's just not a very good movie.
Ooh, but, fourth. I like your thinking here. Let Timo, from Shadow Strays and Night Comes for Us and Headshot, and recently on Nobody 2.
As long as they can be consistent with what's in those pages.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude. See, this is where like you're a
top commenter. Yeah, you're
being
coming
out of
first.
like the kung fu sphere. It's like you don't. It's like you have discovered so much. It's like Timo. I'm telling you, man. It's like for everything you described about Last Ronin, Timo would hit the bullseye with that.
I saw this.
Yes, I'm gonna give it a look this weekend because I know Wonder Meg loved it and it looked pretty good to me. I'm looking forward to giving it a look.
everything I saw in the clips was all the good parts of it. I mean, wasn't really, but I wasn't really into it.
And then we got
him. Like I said, I got mixed feelings about him.
We got after that Trap House.
Trap House.
That's something David T says and works. And then Wicked. Yeah, I know. Wicked for good. I saw the trailer for that the other day. What was the last thing I saw in the theater? Damn, I forget. But yeah, Wicked for good. I know Aaron's looking forward to that. And Sisu Road to Revenge because the first Sisu. You haven't seen the first Sisu? It was the World War II. It's basically like John Wick in World War II.
Who's in it?
Well, it's from it's a Finnish movie.
Well, I know it's done. I know it's done because it's out. But who's in it?
Well, I don't know if I can pronounce his name. Like Jorma Tamila, and Stephen Lang's in the second one upcoming. But yeah, it's from Finland. But there's a lot of names here. It's like I can't even like
okay, so it's not something I me not knowing about it doesn't. It's not my usual like who the fuck. Yeah. Okay, I don't know who these people are, but it sounds.
Let me pull. I'm gonna pull the Wikipedia for the first one because it feels like I feel like you would have seen this. Because again, like, the best way I can describe it is it's John Wick in World War II. Yes, you hadn't seen the first Sisu. This is it's the guy with the pickaxe taking out Nazis.
Okay, well that sounds like fun. You have me picking out Nazis. I have not. No, I have not seen this.
Okay. Well, anyway, the sequel's coming out in November.
All right. Well,
and then after that, the big one in December is Avatar, Fire and Ash.
Pass.
Dude,
that doesn't need my money. That thing is not going to need any of my money.
Oh no, it's again, never bet against Cameron.
I never was hooked on Avatar to begin with, so it's really easy for me to skip. I skipped the sequel.
They're doing a re-release of the second one.
Of course they did. They got to beat that in-game record.
No, they already did beat the Endgame.
Did they re-release Endgame again? Did they keep releasing it every other week so that they can? Oh, I got 2.7. No, you don't.
Well, they put out. Well, no. So when Endgame was first out, because it missed Avatar by like that much, so they did the re-release like the unfinished like Hulk like fire department scene or whatever that was, and that just nudged it like that much past Avatar, and then they did a re-release of Avatar. I think in China. Just in China, it was just enough to like nudge it back over, and that's where it's sat ever since then.
Yeah, I've just never, I saw the first one when the whole phenomenon hit, and then it was like, I mean, I didn't leave it going like, wow, I can't wait when I wasn't counting down the days for any more of it, So that's just me though. Now that now this last one just looked like further away. I thought about going to see it, but then I'm like, nah.
It's like I really when they did the re-release of the first one and the lead up to the second one, because I hadn't seen it in a long time, so I did go see it in the IMAX. And again, I'm telling you, it's like that. If there's ever been anything that ever made that warrants an IMAX screening, it's Avatar in 3D and IMAX. I mean, I can't believe I walked out. I saw it twice during the re-release. Because I just walked out thinking like I forgot just how stunning that movie is, just how visually breathtaking the Avatar is.
Yeah, I thought it was a good advancements and things like that, but like it says, it just never really hooked me to the point where I'm like, it's easily dismissed for me. But I know, like I said, the entire 90% of the plan is going to go. You all have fun.
Well,
I love James Cameron. I just this is one of those movies, this series of movies I have no interest in.
Did I share with you the film theorists video where they talked about the theory that Jack is a time traveler in Titanic? Well, one thing they mentioned that is like, look at Cameron's filmography. Other than Titanic, it's all sci-fi and action. It's like Titanic is the outlier, unless you could go by. It's like when you put this theory in, then it makes a little bit more sense.
That's only because he was obsessed with finding the wreckage. He was he put in a lot of money to help find the wreckage, and it was a big part of his life. And then he obviously he decided to want to make a movie out of it. But I haven't seen a James Cameron movie. To me, that's been like
my news on Alita 2. All right, and Alita. And I know, and Film Junkie I think it was last time I was on. He mentioned that Rodriguez was on with Joe Rogan and talked about, they still have the set, up. So it's like it's sitting there waiting for them to start. So that suggests, okay, they're kind of keeping it,
Did he even want to do that?
Cameron, yeah. They've been wanted to. He talked about when the first one came out. The idea was that they had like 2 to follow from the first one. And I think you even said, I remember you saying one time we were talking about this on here, you mentioned like, you don't think it warranted, as far as like business wise, the first Alita, you don't think warranted a sequel, but it's probably going to get one anyway, just because it's Cameron.
That's it. His name is going to get it made. But if you look at the business it didn't do that much for what you spent on it. It doesn't have that kind of appeal. Avatar has a wide appeal. But once again, James, even if he said no to James Cameron, because he could just fund it himself, but if he wanted, that's why I'm thinking. Why hasn't he done it?
Look at how much money he made off of like the Avatar movies. He could pay for that entirely out of pocket himself.
But rich people stay rich by spending other people's money. Yes. I mean, but if he wanted to do this, why hasn't it happened already? Because it hasn't all been Avatar, and the way those movies are shot, it's not like it's not even in pre-production or anything. I just don't think there's much desire in the business world to do this.
See, I think also, like, to everything you're saying is that because it did, it really bucked bucked the expectations. Really, what it was going to do. It did about like 405.
Yeah, it did 405 on a budget of 2. Oof.
Yeah, so but that really exceeded expectations, certainly for like a manga or an anime adaptation. It's kind of regarded as like the best anime live action, rightly so, I would say. So, and then we had the thing about the last 6 years. I kind of have like, and I think everybody generally you should call anything that was in development or let's like. That's kind of like a pet project or was in development or was scheduled to start or anything. I think because of COVID, you can fairly comp everything about like 1 year's delay. But with that, we've also talked about like how much like the theater landscape has changed in that time. And that's why I kind of say, really maybe the best way to do that, really, not that I want to see, Alita theatrically again, but the best home for it probably would be Disney Plus. It probably would be like a Disney Plus original series or movie. And see, that's the really interesting thing about that because Rodriguez, he's did Book of Boba Fett, so he has a built-in relationship with Disney Plus. But then there's also like Cameron's like and this probably is gonna irk you a bit, William, is that Cameron, he definitely comes from he comes from the mindset he's the theater guy. He's the old Hollywood like adhering to the theater model kind of mindset. So I don't know. Does that kind of put them at an impasse for it?
It just, like I said, I don't know if there's that kind of demand for it in today's environment. We're going on 7 years since that thing has been released. I mean, you got to know everybody who's involved in it could do this like that. There's no.
I think it's like, but again with Cameron, it's like the gap from Avatar to Avatar 2. That was 13 years.
Yeah, but that was there was a lot of technology being developed too that allowed them to change a lot of that. Just like Lucas, when Lucas was going from Return of the Jedi to Phantom Menace, he really held back on doing anything because he didn't think the film industry was where he needed to be. That was a lot with James Cameron because the things he wanted to do in the subsequent series
with
were
Avatar,
things that
well, that's really the story of his career. Like, and even to the extent with Titanic, it's like the reason why Cameron's filmography is like from like about Titanic on, there's these huge gaps between movies is because everything he wants to do is always so grandiose. He's waiting for the technology to catch up with him.
Yeah. But I think that the technology for Alita is there. It's there. It's just I don't know if there's anybody's like really jumping out of their seat to get it done.
Did you read Rashi?
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. Do I think James Mangold's Swamp Thing is happening? I think eventually. I don't know any of the schedule for these things. I don't even know when the stuff that's been done in some cases has been. I don't know when Lanterns is done. I don't know when that's coming out. So I don't. I won't. I haven't heard anything to say that it's not happening. I just don't know when. I do think it is happening. I do think James Mangold is doing it. So thank you for the $2 super.
Aaron, I just watched this Tony John movie Fist of the Warrior.
Okay, what the
this
fuck,
might
guys?
hold on. Let me look this up real quick because that might be like because the international titles, they can vary. It might be that might have been what like Tom Yum Goon was called in Australia because it was called the Protector over here. Look that up real quick.
What the hell is that? Is that science fiction, horror, fantasy?
It doesn't matter. It's Tony Jaa, so it's awesome. Okay, so yeah, it's probably Tom Yum Goon, Aaron, because it was called Rise of the Warrior in Germany, so it's called in Australia.
Alita, but not 43 was solo animation, so I guess it wouldn't really matter.
Well, I mean, yeah, they do the mocap. It's like you make anybody look like anything with it now. And that's something I've been thinking about too. With like we talk about how this technology is caught up with everything is because that with the new Planet of the Apes movies. I mean, the older ones they had to do like all the makeup jobs, and now you can just put dots on somebody's face and make them look like anything. So, is that kind of like portending? They're kind of phasing out like the really torturous makeup jobs for just putting on the the mocap dots and just kind of like turning someone's face and whatever you want to.
Pretty much. I mean, it's easy to do. It's cheap to do. So
yeah. Well, again, you don't have to sit in the makeup chair for 3 hours.
Yeah, and you don't have to really worry about the person's, features that way. You can really do what you want. You can really put, like for Ben Grimm, they put things around him so that the shape was different for him. You had things going around his neck so that it made, so when they did the things, he had other things around his, halos around it so that he could, but then they also put them on his face, but they can bring that forward. So there's a lot of cool things that they can do for cheap. So, all right, guys, I think that's where we're going to wrap this up. And we will be on the air tomorrow at 11:30 for a Peacemaker episode. I think it's 3 or 4. I don't know.
It's where are we at? I think we're at episode 3 now.
Episode 3. So we'll be on the air for episode 3. I will probably try to watch it prior to, but I might be watching Dexter. So the night's still young? Nah, not really. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. So all right, guys. We will see you tomorrow night for Peacemaker. And that's about it.
All right. See you guys.
Like, subscribe, share, do all that.